There's a hidden connection between Lord of the Rings, Gladiator, the Stoics, and the first words in the Gospel of St. John. Hear me out. You know, the Stoics believed that perspective is one of the few true powers that we possess. It's a skill that they tried to sharpen daily. It's the ability to choose how you see the world. And one of the clearest examples of this actually comes from the Two Towers film. Samwise Gamgee, the steadfast friend of the ring bearer, Frodo Baggins, delivers a speech that has become kind of a North Star for me. I'll never forget this scene.
Because they were holding on to something. What are we holding on to, Sam? But there's some good in this world, Mr. Frodo. And it's worth fighting for.
Even darkness must pass. There's a word for this. It's called hope. And it reminds me of this moment from the beginning of Ridley Scott's Gladiator. The Roman general Maximus stands in this quiet forest, and he watches a small bird take flight, appreciating its beauty. But then the camera pulls back, and we realize that he's standing in the middle of a war zone. Chaos is everywhere, rage, violence, death. And yet, Maximus allows himself this one brief moment of wonder. In an interview on the Howard Stern show, Russell Crowe actually admitted that this moment was improvised on the set.
There's like 400 barbarians in the tree line, and I'm standing there going, oh my God, I've never experienced anything like this. He just comes up to me and goes, I'm just going to shoot you, contemplating. I want you to look over to your right, and I want you to see a small bird in the tree.
Honestly, it makes the scene even more powerful. Amidst great darkness, you can still choose wonder. Now, Epictetus was born a slave, but became one of history's most renowned Stoic philosophers. And he used an interesting metaphor for this principle. Every situation in life has two handles. One just won't bear the weight, but the other gives you the leverage to carry the burden. And that's exactly what perspective is. In life, you can grab onto the handle that is bitterness, that is resentment, that's self-pity, or you can grab onto the handle of growth, of becoming, choosing your perspective. So in the Gladiator scene, Maximus chooses the handle of beauty before turning his attention back to the war at hand. In the Two Towers, Sam chooses the handle of hope when Frodo is ready to collapse in despair. And both show us something crucial. We don't get to choose our battles, but we can choose how we fight them. You know, Marcus Aurelius teaches us that our lives are dyed by the color of our thoughts. And the story that you tell yourself about the world becomes the world that you experience. If you stare long enough at the shadow, eventually it swallows everything. And if you seek the good in this world, you will find your greatest adventure. And this doesn't mean ignoring pain or God help us, like positive vibes only. It means choosing the truest, strongest handle, even in a pandemic, even in political chaos, even as it seems like our society is sacrificing our soul, or at least our watch time, to the elitist technocrats that are trying to distract you from what's important. Because at the end of the day, Sam is right. Darkness is only a passing thing. But Tolkien posits a good question here. What exactly is the good worth fighting for? And there's probably a more in-depth, academic explanation of this that might explore Tolkien's Catholic faith and the theology of protecting what is beautiful, God's creation. But I'm not really educated enough or eloquent enough to do that any kind of justice. The virtue, though, that I can point to is wonder. And make no mistake, wonder is a virtue. It's what it means to be human. Wonder is that thing that we experience as kids, like watching our favorite movies growing up. And that's all before this cruel and nihilistic world robs us of something precious, our imagination. You see, when you saw the Star Destroyer fly overhead, or the Great Hall at Hogwarts, candles floating magically on the ceiling, the piercing light of a gray wizard's staff that cuts through the darkness of a Balrog from the depths of Moria. That's what captured our hearts. That's what captured our imaginations. And that's why we talk about these stories on Geeky Stoics. You know, the Logos, at least as the Stoics would have described it, is this order to the universe. It's a kind of ultimate truth that the Stoics sought. But this points to what we knew as kids when we watched these movies. We are human beings created by design, for a design, and by a designer. And this is where the story gets wild. In the opening verse of his gospel, the disciple John makes a claim so outrageous it would have turned the heads of the ancient philosophers. In John 1, verse 1, we read, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God." Now, what's this word he's speaking of? It certainly wasn't the Bible as we know it today. That text wasn't even complete. This was the early years of the Christian church. The original Greek for the word translates to logos. And John's doing this on purpose. This is a direct, deliberate collision with the biggest philosophical school of thought at the time. And John is grabbing the term that every Greek philosophy would already revere, but something that they never necessarily saw coming. John gives the logos a name. Exactly because the Stoics believed that the logos was this rational order to the universe. It was the closest thing the ancient Greek world would have had in terms of a unifying theory or philosophical theory of reality. And then John steps forward and says, essentially, you know that ultimate principle that you spent years chasing, the meaning behind the stars, the source of wisdom? It's not some inanimate force. He's a person, and I knew him. And so early Christianity is fulfilling Stoic philosophy's deepest question here. John is explicitly writing to Greek readers the truth that they would have sensed, that they would have been familiar with, but could never fully grasp. Essentially what John is saying is that the Logos had taken on flesh. I think it's pretty freaking cool. As we talk about on this channel a lot, the Greeks and the Romans, the Stoics, they gave the world a new philosophical language. But John used that very language to introduce those same Greeks to Jesus. Hey, thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'd love to invite you to join the Geeky Stoics community. Our Discord is linked in the description below, as well as our Substack newsletter. We'd love to have you as we dive deep on some of the nerdiness, the philosophy, and yes, sometimes theology in the world of Geeky Stoics. Until next time, may the Force be with you.